Greetings, fellow Icelandic managers. It is I, Aussie Villain, your superior for the last 4 seasons, and I come to you with a peace offering. If you are willing to just forfeit your games against us, allow us to focus on Europe, you'll just get a 3-0 defeat, which, to be honest, will work in your favour anyway. If you refuse, I'm just going to unleash the full fury of Gardini upon you. Alright, have it your way. You've been warned.
Syngjum saman til sigurs hrópum áfram Grindavik. Og ég veit við magnum gerir dag.
Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Grindavik on the Impossible Dream as we start Season 7, Episode 1 of course, as we look to win a 5th consecutive Icelandic title, which would be very, very nice indeed. And as ever, we will start the season by having a quick look at where we stand as a club. We are a professional team, still the only professional team in Iceland, only a 2-star reputation team. Now this reputation was done when the game sort of ticked over between the 2 seasons. We were looking like we were going to finish bottom of the Champions League group. It was only sort of winning 3 of those last 4 games that, you know, really did push us up a little bit. So I suspect that when we check in on this time next year, that will have gone up. But the reason I think it's still where it is basically because of that. There was a professional team. You'd like to think we would be a little bit higher still. Professional squad personality, which is perfect. I am obviously the manager. Axe is still the captain for this season. It will in all likelihood be his last season with us though. But Carly is the vice captain, not because he's Australian, but because he's Australian. Suluk Vajic is our key player, the defender. He is very, very good. We've got a number of key players though. And Hal Dawson is the hot prospect. He is a very, very hot prospect in terms of strikers as well. So that is all looking very, very good. If we go and have a look at where we stand in terms of facilities, we are working on obviously a new stadium, which will be with us by the end of this season, so it'll be our last season in the near Grindavik Torvalla. So that's going to be a nice one to move away from. Bit of a tongue twister. I believe we have facilities that are being upgraded, but cannot confirm that because it doesn't seem to want to tell me that's going to be confirmed. And if we go and have a look at what we're expected to do this season, you can see there, training facilities, so that they should be completed at some point anyway. We are expected to do quite a good job in competitions. We are expected to win, and be competitive in the Champions League. Now, of course, a reminder, in the Icelandic Cup, which we are expected to win, it's preferred to win, so it's not an expectation. It's just academy players for us, so that is how that's going to go. We will probably not win it this year, but we'll certainly do better than we did last year. And that's the whole point of playing the kids, isn't it? So they develop. If we go and have a look at competitions, and we can have a look here again, we can see finish in the top 2 places of the league. Which is, well, we're going to win it, let's be honest. If we don't win it, then we deserve to be sacked. We first qualifying round, which is exactly where we're going to end up, so that's already achieved that. Win the Scottish Cup, as we said, board expectation. We've already won the other 2 competitions, so it doesn't matter what they thought of it because we've already done it. If we look at the season preview here, we are the favourites, and rightfully so. Heavy favourites as well. You can see the bookies don't really know what's going to happen behind us, do they? All of the top 7 are more or less very similar odds, given how narrow our odds are. And you can see the 2 promoted teams, Fram and IA, are not expected to be bottom. So that's going to make the league interesting in that sense. If we look at the team of the season, the only player that isn't a Grindavik player is Albert Jonsson, and he is somebody that should be a Grindavik player, to be honest. He is very, very good. And if we go and have a look over here at the key players, he is just here. And there he is there, 18 years old. He is a player that we would sign if he wasn't at an Icelandic team. As soon as somebody else tries to come in for him, we're going to try and bring him to us, give them a good deal, and so on as well, because he is absolute quality. The other key players, though, let's have a look here. Helgi Gudjonsson has been a bit of a thorn in our side in the past. Lindgren has been a bit of a pain in the backside for us as well. Do we have any other former players? It doesn't look like it. We are starting to get players out into the league now, so hopefully in a season or 2 we'll see quite a few guys that we've developed for the league will show up there as well. But let's go and have a look at how we're starting things off here. Note, before we do this, there's how we're starting things off away to Fram. We have to see the goal that you voted our goal of the season last season. So let's go check in on that. And it was the free kick against Real Sociedad, an absolute stunner. And I do think it was the game that free kick gave us the chance to be able to progress out. And I think as the context of the goal, as much as the goal itself, I think you've done well. I think that was definitely the goal of the season. But let's have a look what we're doing here against Fram. We're expecting a 4-2-3-1 formation out of them. Now, we have got Huggins. Yeah, we sent Huggins there. They took him on a free, so he's going to make his first appearance for them. And we are away from home, which can make it a bit trickier. But the team we're sending out, Andreasen in goal. He is an absolute star. Now, I do see this as our best team right now. Depe, he'll be making a first league start for us. He goes at left back. Bergson and Salukvadze are going to be the two centre-backs. These are the two that I'm hoping will get the job done for us in Europe. Obviously, the window, I think it closes. It's still technically open. We've got our new right back as first appearance for us as well. Antonio, well, again, we'll have a quick look at all these guys so we can see how they're developing. We've also got Capiello. Now, you'll notice that Capiello and Bakali, I'm trying to switch their roles around. I want them to play this way. I think Bakali, as an advanced playmaker with vision of 19, could be very, very good. Cisse will get the start on the right for this one. Over on the left, it'll be a first appearance for Borges, our new record signing, 850 grand we paid for him. Gadini will, of course, be the man going up top. And then the bench, we've got a young goalkeeper, not Rafferson. The reason Rafferson is not auto-registered, so this guy will sort of fill in for the league to be second choice. And he's potentially quite good as well. Morty Mortensen, Matheson, Collar, Ingvason. Now, this guy is maybe a little bit new to some of us. He is coming through and developing fairly well. Murray Hutchinson is leaving us for Hull, of course, but he's still here, so we'll use him as a bit of a cover every position option. And Dyche as well is on the bench. And you'll notice just the one foreign player in the starting 11, which is big for us as well. And the other player that is missing, Kibi, now he will be a foreign player that comes in. He's not quite fit yet, so that is why we see Cisse getting the start here today. Okay, so we can see the starting lineups there. Huggins does indeed get the start for them, so hopefully he does well, but not too well. We're the favourites. Let's go out there, leave them no doubt as to why. This is our strongest team against a promoted team. We better win. So apologies for no episode yesterday. There was a channel news video put out. Basically, I just felt like crap. Now, if you haven't seen that channel news video, I'll sort of give you a brief rundown. 4 episodes a week from now on. Obviously, it will normally be a Friday, but having this yesterday, we'll go through this week. Now, the plan is that there will still be kind of a 5th Football Manager video, if not every week, then most weeks. It'll be sort of like a tutorial or an experiment, something like that. The sort of video that I need to do to help the channel grow, basically. The reason that we're doing this, or that I'm doing this, again, if you didn't see the channel news video, the short story is that my wife's maternity leave is coming to an end, so I'm just going to have less time. So yeah, that is the reason for all of that, but let's worry about getting off to a good start here. And we have Ostadi with a big throw to find Gadini in the box. Bakali's in the middle, he goes down. No penalty given. Depe is a long way forward. Borges, we know he's quick, and we've just seen it there, haven't we? And we build and go again. Back to Bergson. Salukvadze to Ostadi. Now, again, we do have the option to buy him, so we'll watch him very closely during this season and see if we think he's somebody we do want to get in. Gadini looked offside there, and he also looked like he kind of knew it and stopped. Bit of a long old highlight at this point, but we have possession back again. Bakali, what can he do? Threads a ball through for Borges, who's in. Borges! I tell you what, that's a nice looking finish, isn't it? And he has himself a first Grindavik goal. Not his first game, he did play in something. It might have been the Charity Shield thing in pre-season, which is technically a competitive game, but for all intents and purposes, his first competitive game. And look at this, gave the goalkeeper the eyes and just tucked it inside that near post. If he can do that in Europe, that's a very, very promising sign. And Bakali it was, of course, threading that ball through. I just think Bakali in that role, Capiello is very good, but Capiello is also good at winning back possession, I've noticed. As he's going to show us there, we certainly did a good job closing him down. Here we go again with Bakali. Bakali again to Borges. Can he pull it back this time? Depe, it's in the middle for Gadini, and we are cooking with gas now. It's a 9th for Gadini. Some of those are going to be European goals. Some of those are in the pre-season League Cup. But it is 2-0 just on the half-hour mark. And, well, Bakali pulling the strings in there again. Depe did really well. Put the ball into a good area. And the goalkeeper will want that back. But that is not our problem. Cisse is looking complacent, which isn't ideal. Bergson wins it back nicely. And keeps possession as well. Didn't always look like he was going to, but he did. we haven't seen much of Huggins, really, have we? He's over here. I mean, he's marking Cisse, so maybe the reason we haven't seen much of him is because he's marking Cisse out of the game. There's a good ball for Gadini, though. Gadini's in again. Huggins tries to close him down. And what about the dinky finish from Gadini for number 10? He is a goal-scoring machine at the very highest order. It's another Bakali assist. And like I've said before, I didn't want to... Bakali was disappointing last season. This finish is absolutely stunning. I didn't want to judge Bakali on last season until... I don't like to judge any player on one season. I think they need a second season, to make sure they've settled in. And if they're still not performing then I think it's time to move them on. But yeah, he has done really, really well in pre-season. He's taken his form into the first league game of the season, and he's got himself 2 assists, and I dare say a key pass in there as well. We've got a lot of complacent players, so we will start by don't get complacent, and that's put everybody back on the right track. Cisse only playing a 6-6. Now, he is somebody that we are going to, in all likelihood, try to move on. Not this window, I would very much doubt it at this point. But here we go, Gadini. We've just seen him get a goal of the season from much further out than this. Oh, and he's got a hat-trick. And that all looked a little bit easy, didn't it? The wall maybe not completely in the right spot, because it certainly didn't go over the wall. And, yeah, I mean, look at the gap between there and that post. They left it open for Gadini, and we know he's good enough to find that. And we've got some defending to do now. Let's see if we can do this. Astadi, it's all looking a little bit easy, isn't it? Capiello trips over the ball, does he? And here come Fram, keeping possession. It's the first we've seen of them. And at 4-0, it might be a little bit late for them to start showing up. But Bergson, that looked just like really good defending, didn't it? Bakali on the ball again. Goes back to Antonio, to Depe, to Bakali. Bakali. Oh, he's off. Well, that's harsh. I don't mean to defend the opposition, but they don't need to be down to 10 men here, ref. It's hard enough for him as it is. It was a nothing foul. And, well, do we want to try and give... Who's on the bench we could give some game time to? Antonio is booked, so let's get the youngster in Vason on. And I'm wondering it might be a good game for Morty Mortensen as well to get some game time in place of Bergson. What are you doing, Cisse? On your feet, man. Yeah, the thing is with Cisse is that he will be a useful player to play in the league. We are only loaning in the guy from Southampton, so I don't want to leave ourselves short at that right wing position by basically getting rid of him, and then because Southampton could call back their guy, and then we end up with no right-sided wingers, really. Which we could probably get away with in the league, but in Europe that might be a bit of a problem. And Gadini has blasted one over the top. Very unlike Gadini, that one. I do wonder at what point... oh, that's almost ricochet in. At what point Gadini is going to really start pushing for a move. What we need is the whole league's reputation to go, oh, it's a good header. Who was that? Was it Sulukvadze, I think? We need the whole reputation of the league to go. I mean, obviously our club reputation as well. But if we can get all that higher, then players are going to be less inclined to want to leave. Whereas where we stand right now, you can understand why Invason over a ball and not a mile away from the kid. You can understand why they want to move away from it, even though, we did make the Champions League knockout rounds. We're still not, not a huge club by any means. So even though we feel like we are. Well done, boys. That was pretty good, wasn't it? 4-0 first game. So straight to the top of the league we go. Very, very nicely done indeed. Huggins suffers defeat against his former team, and Ostadi, amongst others, impresses on debut. So that's all very good. A hat-trick for Gadini, and that just kind of goes without saying, doesn't it? We just assume he scores a hat-trick when he starts. And the Spal boss is looking at that man, Gadini. He would have really liked what he saw as well, wouldn't he? So, problems perhaps on the horizon. Next up, we have a game against somebody. I'm not sure who it is. We'll find out momentarily. Okay, welcome back. Now we're about to face Grotta, which means a terrible, terrible kit clash, so I apologise in advance. Season tickets, though, they have soared from last season with the extra 150 or so It's good, obviously. We'd rather have more ticket sales than less. But let's have a look and see what we're doing here against the Grottanese. We are expecting a 4-4-2 out of them. And in terms of the team, we're sending out 1 or 2 changes. Nothing too spectacular, though. I'm wondering, I'm looking here, we've got a heavy match load for a couple of players. So, I mean, I haven't played that many games. All right, let's stick Collar on for Depe. All right, that should do. So it's going to be Andreasen in goal, Collar, Axe, Selukvadze and Ostadi will be playing as the back four. Antonio Capiello, Bakali, Cisse, a first look for Thomason, one of the new signings for this season. Of course, we're trying to retrain him as a left-sided winger, so the more we can play him, the better, obviously. Daesh will get the game up front for this one. Just a bit of squad rotation. Depe's on the bench, Mortensen, Matheson, Ingvason again, Borges and Gadini as well. Okay, so we can see the team sheets there. I don't recognise too many names in their lineup. This Ivan Oli Santos was a decent player sort of back a few seasons ago. I was looking at him, but yeah, obviously we are better than what he can provide us with now. We'll say our home form is important to us. We'll fist pump, tell everybody they're doing a good job. That's gone bad when we spoke to Daesh, hasn't it? I find it a little frustrating that they can become more demotivated if you speak to other players. But yeah, anyway, it is what it is. Their recent form is not great, if we're honest. It's someone we should be beating. We should be beating everybody at this point anyway. The only team that really gives us a bit of a time. I mean, Grotta, to be fair, a little bit of a bogey team for us. I think it's the clash of the kits, to be honest, because we don't know who we're passing to. I think Breeder Blink is probably the one. Would we say they're our bogey side? I'm trying to think who else has done well against us, but I don't think not too many as they come forward here. And that's a tap in for Santos, who maybe could do a job for us after all. And we have fallen behind very early on here, which is not ideal. It does, of course, give us a long time to come back, though. If you are trying to distinguish the kits, we have yellow sort of on the chest or the tummy area, and they have yellow socks, we have blue socks. But obviously the rest of the kit is essentially the same. And he is just on side, isn't he? So not a great start, let's be honest. But like I said, plenty of time to come back, and hopefully we will do just that. That's not a great ball forward. Astadi has it. Let's see what he can do. He does have a decent cross on him. Sulukvadze. Axe. Cross there for Collar. Forward for Bakali. Can he thread through another ball? It's a good run for Capiello. Daesh is offside. Thomason may or may not have been offside in the end. He doesn't have a finish, and it doesn't matter. Now, what's happening here? Ball is out for a corner. They are looking quite up for this, unfortunately, aren't they? Markovic, I'm sure not that one. Daesh heads it away. And then goes to chase down his own clearance. Astadi gets a nice block in. That'll end that highlight. Let's try just an encourage. Bakali looking anxious is not ideal. We're dominating possession as we usually do, but we're not doing much with it. So let's try and raise up the tempo. These players should be good enough to play at a higher tempo. Bakali over a free kick now. Back post. It's headed towards goal. It's bouncing around. Selukvadze has got it. I think what has happened there, though, the keeper saved it. A defender has gone to clear it, and it's just cleared it straight into Selukvadze. We'll get a better look here from behind the goal. But it was Selukvadze's header initially. Decent save. The defender's gone to clear it straight into the face of Selukvadze, and about 10 players have run away claiming it. And none of them knew anything about it. All right, Astadi with a throw. Can he get one of those crosses of his in? It's headed away. Cisse down to Selukvadze. We keep possession. There's a ball to the back post. It's there for Thomason. Can't quite dig out a cross for us, though. But Selukvadze will have it and will come again. And not the greatest ball there from Capiello. Axe is there, though, cleaning up. And we come again. Daesh, good ball there for Thomason. Can he score this time? No, he doesn't look as good there as Borges, does he? To be expected, as though, he's more of a prospect for us than a finished product. But Carly whips the cross in, but it's come back out. He's going to get a second chance at this. There it is, back post. It's a penalty, is it? It's a handball. Axe is going to take it. And let's see if he can, in first half stoppage time, give us the lead here. Oof, tell you what, he's done it. Let's celebrate that, but it didn't look completely convincing. we'll give them some praise. It's an excellent start, end I should say, sorry, to the first half. And yeah, 2-1 it is. We've recovered nicely from a bit of a dodgy start, and the match momentum, if you just briefly saw it there, it was all Grindavik, as you would expect. I mean, it's got to be don't get complacent, really, doesn't it? There's not much else we can say about it. If we play that well again in the second half in terms of the match stats, you would imagine that will go on and beat the 3-0 spread. But let's see what we can do here. Collar. We've got Ava at the door trying to come in, if you can hear the knocks. It's bath time. She's trying to escape desperately. Thomason! Oh, it's a decent save. Just over the top. Let's give them some praise. I think if we can get a third goal, get that 2-goal lead early in the second half here, we could go on with this. That's another decent header, but just wide. And, yeah, I mean, Thomason not having a great game. We do have Borges on the bench. I'm a little reluctant to bring him on only because we're facing KR next in the league, and that's a midweek game, so we've only got sort of 2-3 days off. But we might... He's just improved his performance there. All right, Antonio is doing his best to pick up where Jen Yu left off with a booking every game. But Carly whips in a free kick. It is again over the top from Axe. And we've got defending to do now. And that is headed away. Thomason brings it down nicely. He's got Dyche with him. Now, he is not slow as Thomason. He's a good dribbler. Can he pull it back there for Dyche, who surely can't miss? He can, but Bakali's there. And he gets his first of the season. And it is now 3-1. That should do that. Now, I don't know what happened to Dyche here. Did it... excuse me, did it bounce off the back of his heel to Bakali? He's done a little sneaky back heel there, has Dyche, but he's not got the credit for it in the league, in the assist column, because it's gone. Oh no, it has gone to Dyche. A wonderful little back flick there. We've got a free kick now. Andreasen is there, makes the save, does he? He does, a very, very good save indeed. Let's tell him to focus. Edwards with a corner. Let's get this away, please. Andreasen comes and claims it brilliantly, and now we go down the other end. Capiello with a corner, and that is just over from Dyche. Do we want to make any other changes here? I don't think so. Let's just leave it for now. It's a bit too late in terms of game experience for youngsters anyway. And we're not going to quite get the 3-goal margin of victory, but 3-1 it is. It's a good comeback from falling behind early. And yeah, well, there we go. A bit of a lucky goal, a penalty, and a very nice one from Bakali in the end on the break. So there we go. We stay top of the league, as you would expect. A couple of teams could still join us there on 2 wins from 2 games. But I would hope and think they will drop off eventually. So Grindavik, Hammer, Grotta, very, very nice start to the season indeed. And Silikvadzi doing well. I think he's ready. I think he's ready to lead us in Europe at the back. He's still only 19. He's wanted by some big teams, Bordeaux. There's a couple of others as well that were interested in him. If we can keep him, I think, like I say, I think he's ready to do the job for us. So there we go. We've got, so who's looking at Axe is, this team wants Axe. To be honest, if they pay a fee, they could probably just about have him. But there we go, guys. That will do it for today. If you've enjoyed that start to the season, make sure you hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. We will be back. We'll come back for the Cup. A reminder, the Cup games will be Academy kids only. So it'll be Volsing up. We'll face Keflavik in the meantime afterwards. And yeah, we'll get an idea of how things are going to go. And then Europe will start up relatively soon after this Breeder Blink game, I would have thought. So yeah, the season will move on. We'll have hopefully a 4th round tie as well. But we will come back for the 3rd round. Until then, guys, I've been Aussie Bill, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.